Everybody, welcome back to the Insiders Lounge. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks since I've recorded another episode, but today we have Valerio. Thanks for coming on, and feel free to introduce yourself to everyone.
Thanks for inviting me, Chad. Good evening, everyone. I'm just calling. We are just speaking here from the preparation, so don't know what time will be published the podcast. Here actually it's 9:39. Here we are now. I'm actually now assistant manager of Partizan Belgrade. We are making now the winter preparation in Cyprus. So the league will start again around 10 February. So we are now planning and also fighting with the transfer window, who goes, who comes. So it's a work in progress.
I appreciate the time for you coming on, especially I know it's busy with the transfer window and the preseason. So I'm glad you got to come on. But let's start with the childhood. Let's get into how you got into football. Was it through your family? Did you play? Did you have a career? Get through some of those early stages of your footballing career.
Yeah, back to the memories. Yeah, of course. I was playing. I always loved football since I was a kid. I started to play in the professional academies. Then my career, I saw that wasn't taking the right path, because I was going down to the lowest category, between third division, fourth division, third division. So then I decided to quit in advance because I realized that maybe I couldn't achieve the level that I wanted as a football player. To be fair, it was really painful decision, because we had to admit with ourselves that we are not good enough. So it's not for someone that dreams about football. It's not ideal, but you need really to in this sport. And I think something that we can also connect to the life outside the football. You really need to understand your limits really quick. So once you understand the boundaries, then you can step forward, you can set goals, you can progress. But I saw that wasn't the point to continue. Probably if I continue to play, I was of course maybe I could have the possibility to progress, but not at the level that I wanted. So there is no time for this in the football, especially nowadays. So I stepped into coaching. I always loved this part also, because when I was playing, I had something that I was really close to always asking questions to the coaches. Why are we doing this? About methodologies, about tactical organization. I was really curious on that. So it was let's say a natural step. So then I started to coach. It was really the transition between player and staff is especially the first year is really, I think that everyone can say the same. Not traumatic, but it's really weird, because you are used to feel the emotion of the dressing room with your teammates, to be addicted to the grass, to the game, to the football game, to the trainings, and then you need to step out. If pass the ball close to you, you need just to give back the ball. You cannot play, So that was weird, but I learned a lot of things, and my vision of how one team needs to be organized really open, because when you see the world only from the football player side, you are not aware of a lot of dynamics, which you can learn once you are part of the technical staff. I assume will be also different if you are part of the management. So there is a different perspective that helps you to have one global vision of everything. I started in my role as a staff at the very beginning was the first year as a fitness coach. But I also had one approach always on the football side, especially the school in Italy was always close to the technical side, work really close to the coaching staff, to the technical department. So was never a classical approach related to the performance. It was one approach to related to the football side. So then the consequent step was really fast and really easy for me to then step as a first team coach, and then in the last years, last 5-6 years as assistant manager. But then yes, I learned a lot, because if you do more, if you cover more role inside the technical stuff, you can see always the points. Always good
Yep.
to see the different point of view, how the week is organized, what are the dynamics to the dressing room, what are the dynamics with the management, coaching staff and management, players with the fans. You see a lot of things that really helped me to grow. So basically, yes, that was my transition and my step into football.
And you mentioned how you kind of learned from all the different roles of the club or of the coaching staff, where you were able to first start working in the fitness side, and then you worked on the coaching front, and now you're more in the management side. That's all educational in its own sense, where you really get to learn each position and their point of view on the tactics, the methodology, and just the movement of play. Have you had any other educational side? Like, did you go to university, or did you go to college, or did you even do like maybe some certificates, like the UEFA coaching licenses and things like that? Have you had any of that in your background?
Yes. I think I'm one of the most competitive about education, because of course I couldn't achieve on the football side, so I always had to fill the gap with the education. So I had two bachelor degrees, one in communication, which is an aspect that is really important nowadays, not only in the football. So all what regards about the clearances of communication, way to communicate, how to lead the people, how to manage a group of people, different culture inside one work environment. These are all things that you can relate really easy to the football side. Then also, of course, the degree in sports, exercise. Then I also made few courses abroad with the Barca Innovation Hub regarding the neurology. I was really passionate about how the mind function, about nutrition as well, which I consider a really important part in the sport, in the elite sport. Of course, about periodization and methodology. Then I made a master in coaching in the Netherlands with the Johan Cruyff Institute. That also is one really important network and one really important school about the coaching, not only in football, in all the sports and aspect of the life. Then I had as well, of course, UEFA B license, and now I actually enter in the A license course. So I will do this in the next months. And then what else? Then of course all the whatever courses or going around Italy and Europe to speak with coaches, sport director, visit clubs, everything that I could do. I don't even remember now, because I really went everywhere to
Yeah.
see and try to learn as much as possible.
No, it's cool to see you've really done so much, and one of the key aspects you mentioned there was one of your bachelor's degree was in communication, and obviously on the coaching front, but even I think in your life in general, it's so important. But I believe I have the stat right here that you've worked in 9 different countries and speak 5 languages. So obviously that language side is so important with the communication side of football, understanding your players, speaking with different staff members, media, the whole kind of story. You're speaking English to me, Italian background, and you're working in Serbia. So it's just a crazy kind of environment. But what were some of those different, like working in different countries and working in different cultures, like especially with understanding all the languages? How are you able to learn the languages? You want to touch a few points on that?
I didn't make any school, and to be fair, I wasn't even great at school in the language lessons. So it's something that came naturally, or I think that someone has inside himself. Also, but when you are thrown in some environment and the other people are not able to communicate well, it's something that in the genes, in the DNA, to survive, you need to have to try to find a way. And that's how I learned the other language. For example, I speak fluent in Spanish because I used to play with a lot of Argentinian, Brazilians, so they are all my teammates that speak Spanish, speak Portuguese. So of course I was able then to learn how to speak fluent. Romanian, I was there. I worked there in Romania. Romanian is a Latin language. So after the first 2 months, which I wasn't able to communicate, not even what to eat, then suddenly I started to speak, and I speak really fluent now. with all my friends there. Hungarian, when I was there working there, I was trying to go in the school. It's really hard language. I think it's the third hardest language in
Yeah.
the world. But I was able in the end of the season to speak on the pitch, to manage short conversation. But of course, I'm not fluent as 4 or 5 languages. My wife is from Croatia. My kids are Croatian, so I also can speak Croatian and understanding, of course, Serbian and Croatian. So that's where I am now. But it's something that came really naturally. About the point to coach in different countries, I found I made a mistake the first time coming from the Italian league to try to reproduce what is the style of play, what is the approach from Italy in these countries, and it didn't work clearly. It didn't work because it's another country. It's really simple as that. So you need to respect and you need to understand really quickly where are you going to coach, which are not only from the football side, even from the historical side, from the culture of that country, because the culture, I always say this, because it is really strictly connected in the way the teams make footballs. So it's really, I found a direct relationship between these two things, and it's really important to understand what is the culture of that country. I give you a short example where I was. One episode came in Georgia. They were used to training with 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, which in our days, of course, now they are all based on the intensity short training, 1 hour, 1 hour, 50 minutes, so average. I speak globally about methodology side. But okay, they came. We made, of course, this kind of trainings, and then came the captain with few players to us where we don't feel good, we don't feel prepared, we worked not enough. Said okay, we explain we cannot stay 2 hours and a half every day on the pitch because it's not good. Then on another side we could have other kind of problem, but we can deal. And then in the end we needed to deal, for example, even on the duration of the training. So it doesn't matter if was correct that one that we were proposing, the requests from the other side, and they were used to do something before us for all their life, that were not fixed with this strong impact that we brought at that time in the team. So we needed to mediate on this simple thing. This is just an example, but there are a lot of these. Another example was, for example, when he came in Scotland, we figured it out that the Scottish League was the first in Europe for long ball played. Long ball played, first league in Europe. Long ball, header of the number 9, classical Scotland, except Celtic and Rangers that do another kind of football. The other team, more or less, at these kind of numbers. We could not ignore these kind of numbers in the organization tactically. So we passed from one man-to-man defense, which every long ball potentially is 1v1 against the goalkeeper. Every long ball is too risky. And we pass to a full zonal structure. So playing with the offside, playing with the coverage, working on the coverage on the long balls, how to defend these long balls, working with the offside a lot. So doing this, we were able to be the second best defense in the league after Celtic, in front of Rangers during our period in charge. So that was really important and really effective in the impact that we had on the league. Other situation, of course, you can find, for example, in teams as Partizan, for example, or Sheriff, which I was last season. They are teams that are used to have the ball 80-90% of the time. And especially in this kind of club, if after 20 minutes we are 0-0, the fans start to be annoyed, and there is a big pressure on the players. So you need to figure it out a way which you dominate the game, you can score really fast, but also you need to understand how to organize, for example, the defense in this kind of teams which are exposed to counter-attack more than other teams, because a lot of games are against teams that play in a low block. So the way that they can score to you are or through the set pieces or through the counter-attacks. So you need to manage how to make the offensive balance, how to deal with counter-attack from the opposite side of the pitch, when the ball is on the side, when who's going to put pressure on the ball, what is the behavior of the player closest to the one that put pressure on the ball. The rest of the team, how does it behave? How to make the tactical fall, when to make it. So all these kind of details that is really important and can avoid a lot of chance for the opponent, for example.
I've spoken with a few different guests on that aspect where even on a footballing side, like you've mentioned, you have to understand the culture and how to adapt to it. But even on the personal relations side and more business side of things, you have to understand how people not only you can understand. So let's say you understand Romanian and you can speak the language, but you also have to understand the culture and the background, because if you don't understand that side as well as the language, then you're almost just as lost as someone like me who can't speak Romanian. And I think that's a key that I've noticed more recently. But one of the things you touched on is all the different experiences you've been able to have, especially around Europe. You've worked in many different countries. We've spoken about the language side of things, but you've also worked, I think it was under 18 different head coaches throughout your career. What is that's a big grasp. That's a big range of how many people you've been able to work with. What are some of the key kind of factors to that, like, and some of the key experiences that you've been able to experience during your time in coaching?
Yes, I was really lucky on this side because most of the time, as a technical staff member, you follow one coach and
Right.
then you go with him. For one reason or another, most of the time, because was especially here in East Europe, there is no longer this project, a long project. So every time the contracts are short, you are strictly connected with the results. So you need to understand how to survive, how to make results, and how to work in the short, medium term, not on the long term. So then I had the possibility to work with the coaches from different nationalities. British one, Latin, Russian, from East Europe. So all of these live not only the football, live the life in a different way. So they have a different approach to the sport, to the daily routine, to the organization, to the way to communicate, to the way to express their emotion. So was really important for me, and I really consider myself lucky to have all this kind of learning experience. For example, I remember was when I was in Cyprus here, one season was on the roster that we had 21 different nationalities in,
Wow.
in the same dressing room. So it was like Babylonia, the dressing room. And we made a strong. It was really hard to connect the team as a as a group sometimes, because it was problem to communication. For example, in the set pieces, on the set pieces, one speaks Spanish, one speaks Russian, one speaks who knows. Nobody knows who to call, how to call. So it was really made a strong work on the communication using a common language. Making a specific session on this common language for everyone was really important. So in the under pressure, we under adrenaline to recognize a key word in all the area of the pitch for all the situation, which everyone can then act and then find the solution in the way that we want. So that was one example. But depends. For example, British coaches, I admire them. The great organization that they have. Everything is great organized in all the details. So the daily routine, the approach, how to organize the drill is really everything is made. Is following one strong schedule. Latin coaches has this emotional side or this charismatic part that can involve the dressing room in some moments during the season or during a game. I don't know. The coaches from East Europe are really methodic. They are really they follow their protocols. They are really strong connected with the protocol, and even in case when there is not good moment, for example, in the season, they be attached on the protocol, and that is what keep them grounded. So there are different approaches that I think there is no one better one. No, it all depends, of course, by the situation. But I think that they are. It's really interesting to observe all this and then to one day maybe try to reproduce it or to do it in my way in some club in the future.
And we'll get into your current project. You're with Partizan Belgrade. For those viewers, we have viewers from all around the world, so I'm sure most know, but do you want to give some background on Partizan Belgrade as a club, and then also how you were able to get involved, how you got your position there?
Okay, Partizan Belgrade. I don't need to present, of course, Partizan Belgrade because one history of the football was here. I played against Partizan Belgrade in Europe last season when I was in Sheriff. We won 3-1 here in Belgrade, and we progressed then in the eighth final of the Conference League. That after we lost in France against Nice, but anyway we won those games. And at the end of the season with Sheriff, I got a call from the manager from Partizan, and they said because he worked in Shakhtar Donetsk with Fonseca, and he's a good friend of the sport director, and another Italian coach, which was in Juventus last season as assistant manager of Allegri. That worked as well in Shakhtar, had this common connection through a sport director. He called me, and then he said to me, Valerio, do you want to go in Partizan? I had 1 more year with Sheriff, but I decided to make this choice because also for family reason, so I could bring here all my family, and nothing. Here I am in Partizan, but basically all the job that I had in the last 10 years, I was through connection and networking. That's why through colleagues, coaches, sport director references, of course. Through I think that if you are professional, if you are always fair and behave good with the people, you will get the job always.
Definitely, it's a key point that I'm always very persistent about on the podcast, and that your network is your net worth. I know people don't like that saying, but it's true. The people you know is how you can continue to grow in life and in your career. We were speaking even before the call over message, and even when we called last time, about Partizan's policy on how you buy and sell players and the development of defenders more specifically. Do you want to touch on some of the, I know one of your key beliefs, and you've mentioned it now before, is your focus on defense and developing defenders. So you want to touch on, like, I know Illich was just sold. So let's speak on kind of the defensive side of your beliefs in coaching and how you've been able to build that at Partizan.
Yeah, of course, Partizan is one club that lives through selling young players from Balkans. You know, there are something about genetic that they develop top players all over the world. If you see in the top 5 leagues in Europe, there is always some player from Balkan, from Serbia, from Croatia, from these regions. So they are really strong countries for this. And Partizan is one of the best, if not the best, I think, academy that produce more talent in all Europe. This season we were able to sell to Mihailo Ilic to Bologna recently, a few days ago. Even Christian Beric went to AZ Alkmaar in Holland. So these are our products for now, but I think that until the end of the season and in June also we will hear much more names because we have great players with great potential that are already being attention from top 5 leagues, from top 5 leagues. So about defenders, this is I can say this is my passion, not because I'm only Italian, you know, it is Catenaccio. My colleagues joke with me about that. No, but I truly believe it's not about defense. In the football of nowadays, we cannot even split the defense from the attack because it's all fluid. You cannot know if you are attacking, if you are defending. I give you one question, for example: if one team is high pressing, who is the team that is attacking? Who is the team that is defending? You never know. You can defend when you have the ball. You can attack when you don't have the ball. So how said recently, I think Juan Manuel Lillo was the historical assistant manager of Guardiola in one of his interviews. So is really important, in my opinion, to organize the balance, not the defense, to organize the balance in the team. If one team is in balance, is always in control. Okay, you cannot dominate the game always, but you can be in control of the game. Because there is also the opponent that has the ball during the game, so we cannot have the ball all the time. The important is that if you are comfortable when you don't have the ball, so all the player knows exactly what to do to gain the ball back, this directly built an awareness of the team to risk more when they have the ball. And you are able also to attack more and to attack better because you know exactly what to do in case of loss of the ball. So build the defensive organization is like to build the base of one house. You cannot build first the roof and then the house because it's going to fall down. So that's why I think that is really important in the short medium term, especially when you enter in a job in the season, or when you have a team which is coming from a bad period of result. It's really important to focus on the defensive organization first. So everyone has to be clear on what to do when we don't have the ball, be comfortable when we don't have the ball, be in control. Of course, related to different zone of the pitch. So what we do in one zone of the pitch is not the same what we do in the mid block, in low block, in the high press, when the ball is on the side, when we are numerical advantage, all these things that then you fix. But important is be everyone comfortable without the ball. It means attacking team. And that's the proof that all the teams that are in the top of the table, not in Europe, in all the leagues of the world, are the team that consider less goal. The team that consider less goal. I can give you an example. On the last World Cup in Qatar, there was the group where was Brazil and was Serbia also as well. I made this example to my players here. Serbia was the best attack in the group, and Brazil was the worst attack in the group. Brazil passed the group as first in the table because it didn't concede goal, and Serbia conceded too much goal. I don't remember now exactly the number. It was at the bottom of the group and didn't progress to the eighth final. So this is the one really key point of all the teams. So that's why I'm really passionate about this. I was able to make 5 defensive records in 5 different leagues. So I'm really proud of this because I can show numbers. It's not an opinion. There are numbers. The numbers never lie. So, or I joke with the director when they ask me why do you need to take this job. I say, listen, I can't maybe. Or I'm good in my job, or I'm unbelievably lucky. So, and that's is good. Both are good point of view. So then I was able to develop 9 defender called in national team directly under my coaching, and the same number being sold to the top 5 league in Europe. Not only now Mihailo Hilic, then was Ryan Porteous to Watford, then was Josh Deutsch to Verona, then was Mario Vuskovic, and now most of them play stable in their national team. So this is really important because the defender market is also harder than the striker and the wingers. You know that with few assists, few goals, immediately the value on the market double up, or you can easily sell. But for the defender is harder market, and to double up the transfer market value of the defenders, believe me, is not easy.
And we've been speaking on Partizan and the kind of the influence it's had now, where you've been able to really get involved with the team. You're now in the winter break, getting ready for the second part of the season to start. I believe I checked just before that you're 1 point ahead in first in the league table, and it's one of the biggest, most well-known rivalries between Partizan and Red Star. What is that environment like when you're coaching in it, and how do you see kind of the second half of the season continuing?
Yes, here Partizan and Red Star are eternal rivals. As you know, one of the most interesting derby in the East Europe. Incredible atmosphere. We were able to won 2-1 after the last 10 derby. Partizan didn't won, so it was really special for us to win just before the winter break. So we could go to the stop first in the league, 1 point ahead. Red Star is a really strong team, a really roster with much bigger players than ours, to be fair. But we were able to, with the organization and with our young players, to to face them and to win a game, really playing really well. We did a great first part of the season, and then I think that now now the hardest part will come, because now in the second part now Red Star will not compete in Europe. That was something that also helped us to them to lose the energy. So now they will focus just on the league, and nothing. We will try now to. We are now still also competing in the Serbian league. We are on the quarterfinals, so we try also to go forward in that competition. But yes, here in East Europe, the good point, there are a lot of big rivalry between these teams. I remember also Hajduk, when I was in Hajduk Split against Dinamo Zagreb, was really another big games. Then all these teams, even in Romania, there are Rapid Bucharest, Dinamo, Craiova, Cluj. When I was in Hungary, we won the Hungarian Cup. But we played the derby against Ferencváros. That was our bigger rivals when I was in Budapest. But there is a lot of passion in this region, and I really advise people to go to see football games in this part of Europe, because it's really the football is really at the first place.
It's a true passion, unlike no other. We'll get into some of the Insider's Lounge favorites, I like to call them, some of the podcast favorite questions that I ask each guest to really delve into not only your career, but more of your personal life as well. And the first one, football especially, is a game of highs and lows. I call it a roller coaster where you're constantly up and down, you win, lose, there's always something going on. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced either throughout your career or your personal life? And how have you been able to overcome them and use them as a benefit?
Biggest challenge is to be here, to work in the professional football at the elite level, and also to have a family now with 2 kids. When a few years ago I wasn't even thinking about this, and now I'm also a dad. I like to not speak about football when I'm at home. Also, I really they're really my peace of mind when I finish my day, finish football, and just family. But of course, we are a football family. But so it's always involved in the football. But of course, we try to keep everything outside.
And if we have someone listening to the podcast and they kind of connect with what you're saying, and they like your pathway and the way you've been able to build your own career, and they might want to follow something similarly, do you have advice for someone like that in a almost like a role where they look up to you in a sense as like a mentor?
Well, for mentor, I laugh about when I think of myself as a mentor. I'm really not a mentor, but I can say what happened to me. I just really received thousand, maybe million of no or no answer at all from people. So to don't give up, because if you really want something, in the end you are going to achieve it. That doesn't matter. It's only about you. It's no, but they didn't make me. They didn't allow all external factors. No. It's only about you. If you want to become the president of the USA, you are going to become the president of the USA. Nobody's going to stop you. If you really want it, you are going to get it.
No, I like that. It's good advice. And we're into 2024 now. Do you have any personal goals that you're looking to achieve this year? Do you have anything that you've kind of written down, or you're maybe thinking about each day to kind of improve it on your own, more personal?
Personally, about the football side, I would like to succeed here with Partizan, of course, and to achieve my UEFA license finally. And on the personal side, I would like to have the 3rd kid. My wife was thinking about, because she's busy with 2 already. But to expand the family. I like the noise. I like a lot of people, in the so
definitely. No, I can understand that. And if we sat down and we had the same conversation, and let's say 10 years time, where do you think you'll be in your life?
I think I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to be Saturday next week, but I think that I for sure in a football pitch. But important is how I will be. I'm more worried about how I will be. I hope that I will be happy still. When I'm not going to be happy in the football, I will not do football anymore. I'm going to do something else.
Whatever your true passion is, that's where you need to be. I like that. And we'll get into some of the quick fire questions here. So your favorite club, we mentioned earlier that it was Roma. Was your family just always a Roma family? Is that how you first got into supporting them?
Yes, I had some influence from my family as well, but not particularly. So I was really raised in one AS Roma environment. So I'm fan of AS Roma, even if now it's not the best time to be.
And do you have a favorite quote or saying, something that you live by?
I would say to don't consider yourself too big to do the little things. So always to be humble and to do the little things every day.
And do you have some top recommendations for? I wrote down Belgrade, but really either Belgrade where you're at now, or even back in Italy, back home. Do you have just some top either food places or something you have to try?
I would say, of course, Belgrade, a great city, great capital, but I live in Split, in Croatia, which is one fantastic city on the sea, and I really suggest to anyone to go there for holiday with family or with a girlfriend.
Definitely, it was one of my favorite places I've visited. Do you read? Do you have a favorite book that you've read recently?
Yes, I read a lot. Now in pre-season is I have the chance to read more than one page than when I'm at home with the kids. But my favorite one is Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. But I had a few more, but I cannot mention. I really read a lot of books, so I'm really passionate about this.
No, it's good. And a favorite hobby outside of football? I know you mentioned you like to spend time with your family, but do you have other hobbies to just break away from football for a little bit?
No, yeah, I like to make sports. I like to run, to train by myself. I love tennis as well. I really love tennis. Yes, just music also. I'm a big fan, so I cannot stay without the music. So whatever is relaxing or bringing dopamine in the body is welcome.
And if you could sit down with one person, dead or alive, for a meal or to have a chat, who would it be and why?
Well, I'm a fan of Elvis Presley, so I will really go to dinner with Elvis. A lot of questions for him I have.
No, that's a good one. That's a unique one. We haven't got that answer before. But Valerio, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate your time. If you have anything that you want to let people know about or anything, feel free, and then we can wrap things up.
Chad, thanks to you. You can share if you want my profile or my email to people if someone is curious and wants to make me some question or contact me or for whatever thing I'm available.
Sounds good. I appreciate your time, and we'll be in touch soon, I'm sure.
Thanks, Chad. Thanks.